It has been a tumultuous time in the Dread Domains. Isolde has been removed and replaced as the Dark Lord of the Carnival. Falkovnia. Let us not speak of the chaos in Falkovnia. And Strahd von Zarovich has been destroyed once again. In light of these recent changes, where is King Aslan Rex and what is he doing?
Aslan sits shrouded in the mists themselves. Occasionally they part, granting him views of distant vistas throughout the domains of dread. As each of the domains you have mentioned comes to his thoughts, an image of them appears. He broods upon the shattered remains of the throne which once graced Castle Avernus.
As you ponder all of this, thinking back over your abandoned domain of Darkhan, of your partial escape from the clutches of the dark powers, and what it will take to extricate yourself completely, a pain goes through you, King Rex, in agony, piercing into your very soul, as if you were being rent asunder, a pain you have only felt one other time in the apparatus.
It cannot be. But wait. Well. Poor Uriah. Your friends are most persistent, it seems, and foolish. He rises off the throne, and with a wave of his hands, the mists disperse. We see he stands in the shattered remains of what was once a domain once occupied by a being of great power, the former prison cell of Vecna himself. The distant volcanoes of this realm still glow, but the land itself floats freely. Shattered boulders drift as if the laws of physics themselves begin to break down. This is where he has found refuge. But now he must venture forth. It came from Lamordia, I think. Yes.
Aslan, as you muster your tremendous power to intervene, you become aware of a presence in Darkhan, the one place where even Aslan Rex fears to tread, lest you find yourself captured again in the prison of your own creation, very narrowly escaped. The device is doing something. You know what it's after, Aslan. You know where it is.
Yes. Very well then. I would not see a piece that could be used against me placed back upon the board. This requires my full attention. Come, my servant, my advisor, you who have been with me for so long. Come upon wings of shadow.
As you reach out, calling through the mists, across the plains, you know he hears you. In the depths of the ruin of Castle Avernus, one of your most stalwart defenders stirs. The black shadow dragon, Ebeshith. My lord, your humble servant stands ready as always.
To me, then, your king has a use for you.
At last. And as you extend your vision out towards Darkon, you too see a bright light forming Aslan Rex, a piercing, screaming, radiating through your ears. And yet you know exactly what must be done to stop this abomination from taking place. And hello, and welcome to the Black Dice Society. This is episode 15, Shroud of the Night. I apologize if I have a little background noise. I was fighting with my sound, as you saw at the beginning, and I'm gonna mess with it here while we run the intro credits. But before we can do that, as always, thank you all for joining. As always, this is the Black Dice Society, which is a horror campaign. As such, there is content that you may not encounter in a standard D&D game. As always, I am aware of the cast lines and veils. They have ways of notifying me if something is wrong. So if a scene should stop suddenly, it might be because someone maybe got a little squicked out. Of course, take care of yourself. That is the most important thing, because we can't do spooky stuff unless everyone feels safe. Thank you to our sponsors, Die Hard Dice. As always, use code BDS to get 10% off of any of the incredibly dope things they have there. As always, Secret Lab chairs. Love mine. Again, like always, like riding around on the couch. 9 out of 10 liches agree the Secret Lab chairs are the chairs. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we have our Dark Lord dice with Die Hard Dice. I can't show you right now, and we lost a Desmond, so the tech goblins are coming for us full force, but that's okay. We'll get him back shortly. Speaking of a Desmond, we just put up this week a side adventure where Desmond returned to Falkovnia and had a face-to-face meeting with the body taker version of Nahara. You might have seen some pictures floating around of Nora's absolutely incredible cosplay. So if you want some insight into exactly how the first Nahara is faring and what exactly is taking place in Falkovnia, you can find it now on our Patreon at patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. As always, thank you to Warriors of Waterdeep. We should have a code popping up there. I think we have the Idle Champions code. If not, I'll figure it out. Our TeePublic store is, of course, live. T-shirts, bags, totes, masks, notebooks, pillows, anything you could want Black Dice Society themed is available there. Of course, our wonderful museum quality art of our excellent group photo from Adam Schubert is available if you type !BDS art in chat. And one thing that we've talked a little bit about on the tweetagrams, but not mentioned here, we're doing a live show at Gen Con. I'm pretty sure we're all going to be there, but you might imagine our schedules are wild and it's difficult to know for 100% certain that the whole cast is going to be there. But if we're not all there, most of us are going to be there. Tickets are available now on the Gen Con website. We're going to be tweeting about it more. I know it's 2 months away and time is a flat circle and we haven't even gotten through Comic-Con, but there it is. We wouldn't want you to miss out because it sold out. Now, with that being said, we have 2 very special guests with us here. So I'm actually going to come down across the bottom of the horn to announce who these wonderful people are, starting with Mr. Lucky Yates.
Hello, friends.
I maintain you should just do that as Piddlewick After Dark.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Piddlewick After Dark.
I'm not sure.
Here in the lounge of Castle Ravenloft, we sit with some brewed drinks.
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
I need.
Piddlewick After Dark.
I do.
Yes, my first guest is my sidekick.
I do need at least one bassy. It's me, Piddlewick Wee, though.
It's me, wee! Gimme! Wah-wah!
Welcome back, Lucky. Welcome back, Piddlewick.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you for having me again.
DJ.
Hi. Sorry for the tech issues. I heard they come in threes. I'm DJ, aka Desmond. You can find me as DJ9 pretty much everywhere on the internet. Here I play Desmond, a human ranger.
Lycanthrope.
Thank goodness that actually came through. I was concerned for a second. You're awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our guests for being here.
Excellent. Sage.
Double muted. Hi, I am Sage Ryan. I go by Not Sage everywhere on the internet or Pixel Circus. And tonight I am playing Valentine. Valentine is a reborn aberrant mind sorcerer, and we both use she, her pronouns.
The unequivocally the sweetest of beans, just for the record.
Soft and gentle is how I would describe her.
Exactly. We've been at this a while. We got a lot of game footage that just makes it just undeniable.
Valentine's softest moments.
Returning champion as Rudolph Van Richten, Mr. Todd Stashwick.
Hi, everybody. What a treat it is to have been welcome back to play with y'all in this dark domain. Yes, and I am playing Rudolph Van Richten, Monster Hunter Extraordinaire. I don't know what else to say. That's what I got.
Number 1 Uriah fanboy, right?
Huge.
Speaking of number 1 Uriah fanboy, King Aslan Rex.
Greetings. I am Lord Aslan Rex, lately the King of Darkon, coming to you from the palatial home of Mr. Markbeer.
Tanya.
Hello, I'm Tanya Secretier. I am playing Fen, your blood hunter drow with a little bit of warlock. Thanks to cousin Ferran, Uncle Ferran, whoever he is this week. And that's where you can find me.
It's uncle, cousin, brother Ferran, pending how you sort of shape it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Nora.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nora Ibrahim. You can find me everywhere at Norological. But tonight I play Nahara, who is a reborn Fallen Azamar undead warlock with a few levels of College of the Spirit Bard. Here for all of your spooky foreshadowing, and I can assure you that seeing the intro, everything's fine. Nothing to worry about.
Everything is fine. I would just like to say, before we dive into deciding the final fate of Brother Uriah here tonight, has anybody ever thought about just offering Aslan a hug? I don't know. Maybe, nobody ever tried. Maybe.
Absolutely not, I haven't.
I'm just saying, now it's in your
He
head.
strikes me as somebody who just squeezes too hard.
I can't imagine why. All right, so with
Not really
that,
a hugger.
thank you all very much. We are going to have our intro here while I do some very quick on-the-fly tech support on OBS, and we will be right back with our story. is blinding. The apparatus hums, screaming, as it echoes through your ears, as it echoes through your mind, as it begins to echo through your very soul. Time and space begin to have no meaning. A disturbingly familiar sensation as your mind unconsciously thinks back to Bloodspur and the vision you had of Valentine's resurrection when you were mind flayers, but surely that was just some sort of vision or hallucination that had no root in reality. And as the grim awareness that perhaps there might be more to this than you'd even possibly expected begins to worm its way into your consciousness, everything is back. And you find yourself standing in front of a broken palace. Around you, you see a city that would have been beautiful once, that would have been an amazing fusion of cosmopolitan and Gothic, modern and traditional. But now it looks filthy and dark and broken. Overhead, in the sky, a large golden star hangs, tantalizingly out of reach. You can see the sun elsewhere, dimly shining through the gray sky. Even the hint of a sliver of a moon visible through a visible patch of blue, but this other golden star is unlike anything that you've ever seen. It would captivate your attention, if not for the fact before you stands a palace that is shattered and broken, as if a great explosion had rent it into pieces, but as the chunks flew outward, they simply stopped, keeping the core of the explosion actually inside still, an ongoing magical conflagration. Through the broken towers and cracked floors, it is almost if something, perhaps the building itself, is actually struggling to put itself back together again. Odd patchwork staircases connect chunks of floating cement in masonry, floating in the middle of nowhere. You all find yourself at the base of Castle Avernus in Darkon. What would you like to do?
I feel like we close our eyes and wake up in other places far too often.
This is new for me.
I know what I'm about to say is confusing, but probably not. But is this now or is this not now?
Yes.
Yes. Also, is anyone else disturbed by the fact that our lived experiences is stranger than the puppets?
I'm a construct, thank you. And I also have a name. I thought we went through this the last time.
Apologies, I think.
You're supposed to be the sweet one.
Are you sure about that?
And Valentine does just kind of like actually visibly smirk a little bit at it, like, right. I just, this doesn't look like now, you're right.
It may not be. It may not be now, or it's not now. But I feel like whatever it is, it's still equally as dangerous.
Yeah.
DM, may I do an Arcana check?
Absolutely. While you were doing that and giving me that number, Desmond, you were just somewhere very different.
And then the second Desmond acknowledges this, he looks around to see if anyone else is here that was not with us before. He has
You
an
know-
expectation, but he's not sure.
You remember the apparatus. You remember that strange, misshapen man throwing the switch, cackling, a head, a brain in a jar with an odd assemblage of pieces and components. You remember the electricity and the light. You remember Valkovnia. And then here you are back again with Rudolph Van Richten, Piddlewick, and the rest of your companions.
No one additional?
No one additional.
And that is the thing that is even more strange to Desmond. Desmond just looks around and just...
So,
Speaking of it not being now, once the lights flashed at the construct, I was in Falkovnia. And then he looks at Nahara and just, it was not the Falkovnia we left. And I imagine you understand a bit more about that than most of us.
About that, yes.
Yeah.
I could tell you. Are you all right? You got out of there all right? I'm assuming. With you know who?
Yeah, you know who helped me out, and magically. It's probably the best word to use in this situation. I had a tiny body taker plant in my stomach. And they
I thought that
took
was
it
never
out.
going to come up again.
It's a little tinier.
Never going to come up again? You knew about it?
Well, I meant we were all extremely. You bit into the body taker plant. I mean, I
Bit into
assumed
the
you had
body
gotten
taker
off, but I
plants?
did think it was highly unlikely.
No. There was literally a replica of the body taker plant in my gut.
And you and Tatiana both have made excellent progress in stopping biting into strange places in the mists.
I mean, to be
Professor-
fair, I can control
Well,
all of the biting of things that I can do.
Professor Van Richten,
yes.
you have heard, obviously you're aware of the lands of Falkovnia, but nothing unusual had reached you about anything happening there. You're also aware of the concept of a body taker plant. It is an alien invasive species that comes and consumes humans and replaces them with duplicates. You've never heard of anyone eating one or having it grow inside of them.
And this was a willing choice that was made to consume said plants, yes?
It was spur of the moment kind of thing.
So
when you change into a werewolf and you have a really big mouth and you bite into a really big plant, you're gonna swallow a bit of it. There's not
Yeah.
much you can do about it.
yes, but there's only just a tiny bit left now, right? I mean, I'm
You
assuming.
know how much is
I mean,
left?
I'm
What have
assuming.
you? Oh, so shall I tell them who they are, or shall you?
Desmond, at the moment you say this, before Nahara can reply, Finn, you realize everyone's here, but Ferran is gone. Even Piddlewick, the construct, having just had his exchange with Valentine. Van Richten here, questioning the wisdom of consuming a chunk of the body taker plant. Desmond apparently having seen something that Nahara would apparently rather he not disclose. Zalhonen's gone.
Did we misplace Ferran?
Why would he not be here with us?
Is he back with the apparatus? Or when with the apparatus?
There were certain places he couldn't go. Is it possible that this is one of them?
Maybe, but is that part of what I learned with my Arcana check?
I will add to that Arcana check. You've been to Darkon before. You've been everywhere. But you notice a couple of things. Before, Faran was always very hesitant to set foot back in Darkon. It's why he sent you all to Riverless in the first place. You also realize something's wrong here. Even now in broad daylight, the mist is just a lot closer and a lot thicker than it should be around here. It's like Darkon is being cut into slices. Yes, Van Richten.
So with the magics that work with the apparatus, I would have some idea that the chain reaction of effect, the ripple forward that occurred when it was activated, might have some bearing as to why we suddenly are not where we were once standing.
Van Richten, between your extensive knowledge of these things and that high arcana check, so 23 Finn got, you all have been bounced around across time and space in the lands of the mists. It's always difficult to know for certain, but you're probably not in Darkon.
Well,
And
that was my next.
And there's no sign of Uriah. The whole point is the apparatus is supposed to be bringing him back. He is not here.
So I'm able to look. I'm looking at the Castle of Ernest, and I'm seeing this magic event that is taking place. And I would know if we were in the past, if some sort of event like this would have occurred.
So here is what you would know, Professor Van Richten. You haven't been able to get into Darkon because you would be a priority guest of the Kargot if you were to come here yourself. But you have been told that this did happen. The castle after the day of ascension, that the castle is in an odd ruin and in a perpetual state of explosion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that in and of itself is not unusual. Piddlewick.
Yes.
I will also say, because of you being a creature of the realms, you're also aware you're not in Darkon. I don't know where you are, but this is it looks like Darkon, but it's not actually Darkon.
Are we in the? I look to the group and I said there could be a version where we are in someone's mind's eye of Darkon.
Very astute, Dr. Van Richten. I bid you welcome. I suppose I should not be surprised. You've always been insightful. I've read your work, of course, before I banned it in Darkon.
That dangerous, you saw it?
You all hear Aslan Rex's voice coming from everywhere and nowhere all at once, but you all hear him talking.
So right then, why are we here?
Afraid.
I'll answer your questions one at a time. You are here, Nahara, because I will it so. I would remind you that your power flows from me.
I forget.
And Doctor, what was it you wished to know?
Clearly banned my works from your realm. You perceive me as some sort of threat. So just so you know that all the knowledge that was contained in those books is still contained within me. So.
Of course. Yes. I was most interested in your volume on the Lich, especially when you spread the utterly baseless slander that the King of Darkon was some manner of undead being.
And yet.
You are all here because of what you are trying to do. Did you think it would go unnoticed?
Nahara, when Aslan says this, you feel Uriah's here. Aslan is pounding his chest as always. But he hasn't actually stopped this from working. He's interfering. But you feel Uriah's in that castle, in that ruin of Castle Avernus. He's in there. You just know it.
Why don't you tell us what this is really all about?
Need I explain myself to you, my dear? I am your patron, not your servant.
Since you have come here to answer some questions for us, I figured I would ask the one that was most important. What is it that you seek out of all of this right now? Because I don't see any other reason for you to seek us out.
Uriah has served the purpose for which he was created. Von Zarevich is destroyed by your hand. Once again, I commend you for your skill and power.
And I will remind you of the bargain that we made. I destroyed Von Zarevich, and you promised me Uriah.
But Von Zarevich felt differently. His final curse was to turn poor Uriah's heart to dust. I cannot risk him returning. And moreover, you by now know what Uriah was. I do not think that it would be wise to allow his resurrection. He might be used against me.
Well, I won't know that until I see it for myself now, won't I?
Yes, Piddlewick?
Oh, great Aslan, I have a question.
Ah, yes, the construct.
Piddlewick 2, big fan.
Yes, Piddlewick, I do recall you.
Your Highness,
Yes.
if you could be any type of tree, what kind of tree would you be?
I don't understand. What?
Just, if you had to spend your life as a tree, what kind of tree would you like that to be?
Is this some manner of riddle, then?
Is it?
What manner of tree? The mighty oak, of course. The strongest and sturdiest. The one that would outlast the years.
Great answer. Thank you.
Was this merely some manner of personal interest
But
question?
I'm a big fan.
I thought it was a...
I'm
Never
writing a
mind.
scroll about you.
I see that the years have not rendered you less irritating.
And I see that the years haven't rendered you less beautiful.
Starting to like him.
The only reason I
Is
tolerate...
that crown heavy? They say heavy is the head that wears the crown.
How is it that you find yourself in this thing's company?
Follow-up question. Are you hiring?
Oh, Piddlewick,
Sounds like it
no.
could be your turn next.
You wish to enter my service.
Well, I didn't say that.
Hmm.
Got some
Perhaps.
friends.
Perhaps I would be inclined to consider your request if you were to convince your companions to abandon this task.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
already
No.
tried.
Oh,
No,
not happening.
Yeah.
I have been most reasonable, nay, merciful until now. I am not requesting you do this. I am informing you of reality. You will go no further in this.
At this point, I kind of give a little wink to Valentine to open up a little
I'll
chat.
actually open up a group chat.
Yep.
Valentine.
I will. Okay.
Right before you do this, as
Mhm.
Aslan is talking, as Piddlewick is actively antagonizing him, you hear Tregram. Valentine, hi, hello. Might I make an observation?
Sure.
You are, of course, tactically brilliant, and I, of course, am your humble servant. As always, I literally exist to serve and carry out your will, right? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I know before now you weren't necessarily super keen on the idea of Uriah coming back, right?
Sure, but a decision was made.
Yes, right. Ever the team player, it's servant leadership. Yeah.
Path of least resistance. Go on.
Indeed. But I couldn't help but notice that the Archlich is afraid of Uriah. The Archlich is afraid of Uriah's resurrection.
Yeah, we've had an Archlich following us around for something that could be anywhere between 2 weeks and a year. I don't understand time here. There's no
Sure.
reason that people like him or people like you, and she mentally targets that at the other voice, follow us around because you're not afraid of us.
I mean, I, of course, find you both fearsome and beautiful to behold. Of course, I tremble before you. Second only to the Godbrain. All hail the Godbrain. But I just wanted to point out that maybe if we help bring Uriah back, we can weaponize him against the Lich. Against the Lich.
I'm not hearing this at all,
Careful.
right? Or am I?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah. It's just-
Careful holding on to your own voice there, Tregram. That's literally all you have. Now,
Oh.
a decision has been made to bring Uriah back. What happens next? I can't imagine will be favorable for the Lich. But what will be done will be in favor of protecting Uriah once he's back. Did I not want him to go through the horrifying experience of being resurrected by a questionable technology? Sure, yes, because I'm mean, but not completely awful, I guess. However, once he's back, I don't intend to use him as some sort of weapon. He's the only good amongst us.
If he is the good one, does that not make him the most useful tool, such as it is? And right when Tregram says that, you feel Nahara pushing on your mind, requesting
I will open up a group chat and I will say, before I say anything, here's your reminder that anything we say can and will be used against us, most likely by a Lich.
Right, so you know that he's bullshitting us, right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Good, I'm glad we are on
He's
the same
afraid of
page.
us.
Yes, also, Uriah's in the castle.
Important point of clarification, Valentine. Do you include Van Richten and or Piddlewick in this conversation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. Then you are all hearing this in your heads.
Yeah, everybody's in. It's a group chat.
Uriah's in the castle.
Hey, yes, Piddlewick.
Yes, got it. He's in. No, that's me listening.
I will say, hey, Piddlewick, love having you
here.
along. Honestly,
Over.
you're growing on me. Doesn't happen often. What I will say is, I also understand you're a big fan of the Lich. However, if you disclose any of this information directly to the Lich, any one of us here will have to kill you. And I would love for that not to happen today because it would be terribly inconvenient for the schedule. Understood?
I am here to antagonize him.
Excellent. I love that for you.
Perfect.
All right. I guess we just
Shall
move
we?
on because he's literally a disembodied voice and can't do anything.
Exactly.
Excellent.
But we are a construct of his mind. So in many ways, he has influence on the realm that we are in.
Can
True.
he hear
Yes.
us?
So that
Probably.
can be you. No, yes, no. I feel a pause.
As Van Richten, as you're saying that, Uriah's companions, those of you that truly know him, you get a feeling. Again, no proof, no evidence, nothing you could see. You're not in Aslan's mind. You're in Uriah's. Aslan's here because of their connection, but this is not Aslan's domain such as it is. He will have some influence here, but he's not the lord of this
He's not in
domain.
control. None of that was said. Rewind, delete.
You were thinking it through in real time. You're workshopping it. You're workshopping it. Yes.
They are in my head. They're hearing my thoughts.
Yeah, sorry. It takes some getting used to. Okay, so we'll head towards the castle.
Yes.
And Piddlewick,
Yes.
keep it up. Love what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm here to annoy.
As you approach, Aslan is suddenly standing in the path before you. Do I need repeat myself? Perhaps I whispered when I meant to shout.
You do. I actually didn't hear what your favorite kind of tree was.
Hmm.
It was an oak, a boring oak. Can you believe it? An oak? You were thinking he would pick something creepy at least.
The oak is clearly the lawful choice. You know what? I tire of this. If you will not listen to reason, if you have no sense of self-preservation, then perhaps I must stop you. Uriah was not the first I crafted. The first flesh of my flesh.
Yeah, he's got.
There were others. Perhaps face their remains. He gestures, and the path that you are on seems to boil like water in a pot, as 3 forms pull themselves up from the earth. 2 cadaverous, rotting, their eye sockets glowing with an arcane fire. The 3rd, larger, a thing of shadows and rotted flesh, a maelstrom which seems to whirl around an undead form. Yes, this was one of the first, Llewellyn de Sheen. He sought lichdom for himself, and sought to ape me. But that path is not easy to walk, and so you see the remains. Let them face you, and if you are wise, you will flee.
And everyone roll initiative.
Nobody has ever accused us of being wise. Yes.
Piddlewick, I sent you a stat block for yourself here in chat. If you see that,
I don't know what that means, but yes.
Here in the Zoom, Piddlewick is capable of doing not insignificant things. So if you look here in the Zoom chat, I got.
Oh my God.
Yep. I tell you what, since your hands are kind of full, I can roll for Piddlewick if you like.
I've got a die. I have a full set of dice if you want me to roll.
Well, as long as you can see what I sent you and it's not too much trouble, have at it.
Oh my God, wait, what am I supposed to do with this thing you sent me?
That's you. Those numbers are you.
Oh, hot damn. Really? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
You are not just a pretty face, Piddlewick.
Check me out. All right.
Although I will roll initiative for you just for.
I just rolled a 9.
Okay, perfect. You are unfortunately not very fast, Piddlewick. Okay, so Nahara.
Are we rolling initiative
Rolling
here?
initiative.
22.
22. Finn.
10.
10. Let's go ahead and get Aslan on the initiative block here, just in case he wishes to do anything. I will also say, in the meantime, for ease, Aslan, feel free to control your mightiest servant there, and I'll control the other 2.
Very well.
Piddlewick, that was a 9 for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I should probably have let you roll.
Statistically speaking, yes, you should have. Desmond.
Okay, then you can roll for me from now on.
Desmond, 6. Hey, you're faster than that guy, though.
All right. Come on, Grandpa.
Valentine?
I'll do what I can, okay?
11.
11. Speaking of Grandpa, Van Richten.
22.
Ha ha!
He's spry.
Van Richten, you are tied with Nahara. I will let you, between the two of you, who would you like to go first?
She is fighting for. She's fighting for her love. You go first.
Aw, thank you.
Aslan, what was that initiative for you?
That was. Oh, yeah, I'll type it in.
Okay, perfect. Got it. Okay. Nahara, you are sure Uriah is inside the castle. You almost feel like you can hear him calling out as his voice echoes through the cracked and broken stone.
The first thing I would like to do is cast Form of Dread as a bonus action, and then cast Anti-Life Shell on myself.
Okay, and what does your anti-life shell do?
A shimmering barrier extends out from you in a 10-foot radius and moves with you, remaining centered on you and hedging out creatures other than undead and constructs.
I was about to
Yes.
say, yeah, it's
Oh,
anti.
I read that.
yeah,
Okay, I read
right.
that wrong. Let me.
Yeah, maybe not that. I was about to say.
Maybe
it's like
not that.
I feel
Actually,
like
can we
that's-
go to Todd and like let me figure out what I'm?
Absolutely, yeah. Because
Okay.
you will basically.
I read that
stop
wrong.
everybody.
My apologies.
You'll stop everybody but the undead if you do.
Yes,
that. Yeah.
not what I want to do.
Piddlewick will be there though. That's important.
I'm here.
Right. Professor Van Richten, again, you see Aslan standing in the doorway of the castle. Between you, 3 formidable foes. One particularly tall with very long claws. A particularly lethal form of undead that you're familiar with, Professor, known as a bone claw.
Yes.
The other 2 are dangerous but lesser. They seem to be wights. Powerful wights, but wights nonetheless.
Whites, nonetheless. I'm looking at these stats because I'm all cleric-y.
Van Richten has
So,
a number of options. Yes.
Yes. So first and foremost, I would love to. I'm not seeing it in the stat block that you sent me, but I would like to destroy undead.
I will definitely give you a turn. Tell me this. What is the save DC of any of his general save DC there?
Up. Hang on.
Right by where it says spell casting. It'll be in that line.
Well, it's not. You gave me somebody else's stat sheet, so I'm looking for what the spell say. Oh, 20.
Perfect. All right.
Yep.
Hang on a second here. The Bone Claw has unfortunately made its save.
Okay.
The 2 wights you all see come crawling out of the earth as described. Decrepit husks with glowing eyes that reach out towards Van Richten. And what does it look like when you turn them, Van Richten?
So Van Richten, he wears a golden cross, bejeweled cross. He clutches it, and he shouts something, but it's one of those where the sound sort of drops out, and it sounds kind of muffled to anyone around it, so that the word cannot be repeated by anybody but me. And as I cast it forward, boom, they actually start to rebury themselves. They're trying to go back from whence they came.
You see, it is like Van Richten has driven the wights back into the earth. And all of you, including you, Aslan Rex, behind Van Richten, see a ghost. It looks like him, but 30 years younger. Erasmus, who you've all laid eyes on, just goes... like cheering for his
I'm glad
father
we've got some celebration. Yes.
behind him as these wights crawl backwards. The Bone Claw takes a step back, but just its jaw distends and it roars. And of course, the Lich King himself is unfazed.
He's unfazed.
Mm-hmm.
But that was it was destroy undead.
They're technically a little higher CR than I think you
So a
can
little
destroy
higher. Okay,
outright,
great. So,
but they
yeah,
have
But
left the fight.
They've left the building. And now and that is my complete move. He gets a multi-attack, but that's if I was doing a melee. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, go please.
No, please, no. What were you going to say?
I just say, I recognize, and I haven't taken my move, and the Bone Claw I've pissed off, and he's not backing up. So I'm going to kind of ready myself for a physical attack. I will draw my my staff just for next.
As you all see, Rudolph Van Richten, again, he is a mature man, a head full of gray hair. He is not heavily armed or armored, and yet he stands defiant in front of these monstrous beasts. Nahara, having witnessed this, what would Nahara like to do?
So the whites are gone, or back in the ground. Who else is up right now?
There's a Bone Claw and Aslan. Aslan is further on. He's in the doorway of the building. He doesn't seem to be doing anything. The Bone Claw is about 10 feet tall, I believe. Yeah. Pretty terrible.
Okay. I'm going to bonus action Form of Dread, and then I am going to cast Wall of Light in front of them.
That would separate you from them. Is that your intention?
Are they blocking the doorway?
Yeah, Aslan is in the doorway, and the Bone Claw is a few feet in front of him.
So there's no way of going around. Okay, never mind. I'm going to...
Well, theoretically, the castle is shattered. There's a lot of ways in. He's just standing in what would be the doorway. I mean, you can see clean into it through 100 places. It's just chunks of it are floating around, basically.
Okay. Wall of Light's going to go up, and I am going to start flying towards the side to see if there's a different entranceway.
Perfect. And what does your Wall of Light do?
So a wall of light that is 60 feet long, 10 feet high, 5 feet thick. And if they cross it, they take 4d8 light radiant damage, basically, is the short of it. Unless you want me to read the whole thing. They have to make a con save when...
Aslan Rex, will you allow this to go unchallenged?
Counter spell, I think.
As your wall begins to manifest and you see the Bone Claw begin to recoil slightly, Aslan holds out his hand and you see it dissipate.
It's a dick move. Okay.
However, he can't stop you from flying upwards. If that
I'm still flying.
Perfect. You're heading upwards. After that is this. Aslan Rex himself. You see Van Richten standing before you. You see Nahara flying upwards, trying to gain entry into the castle. You control both yourself and the Bone Claw.
Very well. The Bone Claw will act first, I think. Who is within its reach?
All of them. It's got deadly reach, so... Van Richten would most likely be your most hated target unless you are going to try and stop Nahara from gaining entry to Castle Avernus.
For now, the Bone Claw will attack Van Richten, I think. That is a 21 with its first attack.
I will say the light is dim enough here for all of its abilities all of the Bone Claw's abilities to function, Aslan.
Very well.
It is never sunny in Darkon.
That will be a total of 22 points of piercing damage from the first attack.
You
the second.
See this long arm descends with a sickening crunching and popping as it is almost coming out of its socket as 4 huge claws rake down Van Richten and slide back into place.
Very well. The second attack was a 23, which also hits, I would assume.
Yes.
It does a total of 19 points of piercing damage. Oh, and forgive me, but I must also apply to both attacks necrotic damage. The first attack, the The first attack deals 18 points of necrotic damage. The second attack, 7 points of necrotic damage.
You all see these vicious slashes coming out as Van Richten's blood pours out of it, and Desmond, you of all people, and you as well, Finn, smell the blood of a mortal man, but he's still standing somehow. But most accurately, or most importantly, I should say, you realize wherever you are apparently does not protect you from the ability to be harmed, as he grunts and stands resilient here still.
Further, the Bone Claw will use its bonus action, being in dim light, to take the hide action. It seems to blend into the darkness.
Can I have an attack of opportunity?
Because it doesn't, it's
No,
not
it's
moving
fine.
away. Yeah. And it's got the long reach too.
Fair enough.
If you would, Aslan Rex, please roll for the stealth. You can just keep it. We'll just, you'll know whether or not somebody can find the Bone Claw. You all look as this monstrous thing rips at him, and it's standing right there in front of you. It's huge, and then it's just sort of not there. You know,
I have sent that result to you.
Perfect. Excellent.
Very well.
Is Aslan himself going to get involved?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Aslan casts Time Stop.
Do you wish to free or bring along anyone in particular into this frozen time, or is this time for you to work alone?
Only Aslan himself. If the Bone Claw launches an attack, it will disrupt the spell.
Excellent.
So only Aslan may move.
You have 1d4 plus 1 rounds to do as you will, Aslan Rex.
Very well. 4
Excellent.
rounds.
You become aware of a few things. Uriah is in the castle, but he's not just in the castle. Somehow he's all over Darkhan. You sense 3, 4, 5 places that he's at. And
Very well.
the accursed King's Tear hangs in the sky, Aslan. Something you yourself had not laid your eyes on before now. And it is awful.
No more shall I be bound to this place. It ends with the first round. Aslan casts Delayed Blast Fireball into their midst. It will detonate at the end of the time stop.
That is 1 round of action.
With his second action, he flies, casting Fly, stopping directly in Nahara's path. With his third action, he will cast Othliuk's Resilient Sphere, blocking Nahara. And for the 4th round, the round on which the Delayed Blast Fireball will detonate, he will end the spell by casting Finger of Death.
Who is the target of your Finger of Death, Aslan Rex?
It can be none other than Van Richten himself.
So, you all see the Bone Claw disappears. And then
I'm sorry, am I able to counterspell the thing that he did against me?
Because time has stopped, you cannot.
Dang it. All right.
Yep. Now, what I will give, is there a save? Does Oddluke's Resilient Sphere innately have a save?
I believe there is a dex save, yes.
Give me a dex save, Nahara, as you are flying, and then suddenly there is just a sphere of annihilation in front of you. All the rest of
Nat 20.
you barrel roll out of the way of this thing, Nahara, that has just appeared from nowhere when an explosion goes off around all your friends.
I should be clear, the Otterluke's resilient sphere would actually have entrapped her, but she has successfully avoided that. He does not seek to destroy her immediately.
The opposite, Nahara. You feel this cage closing in on you that you narrowly escape as flames erupt around your companions. Van Richten, who is having a very difficult day, and everyone else, give me dex saves.
I don't like any of this.
You don't, Nahara. You're out of the range because you flew.
No, still, even with everybody else, I still don't like any of this.
It is almost as that you see Aslan, and he doesn't move an inch. And Finn, dex save.
Just a second.
18.
18. Piddlewick, dex save.
12.
Desmond.
18.
18. Valentine.
The 15?
15. And the ever spry Rudolph Van Richten.
Natural 20.
Oh, shit.
Very well.
Van Richten, you know this trick. It's just, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, but just something in you screams for you to duck. In a split second, you all see Erasmus puts his hands like he's trying to push his father, who moves out of the way. I do not believe 18 is enough for the rest of them, though, is it, Aslan?
I do not know, I'm afraid. I have a rather high spell difficulty.
How much fire damage, Aslan Rex?
Full damage will be 41. Those who saved will take 20. This is fire damage, of course.
With that natural 20, I'm going to say Van Richten has eluded all of it, although that does not innately save you from the finger of death that is coming right behind it, as Aslan Rex also knows this old man has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. The rest of you, 42 points of fire damage, except for Nahara. Yes, Piddlewick, yes.
Yes, I have fire resistance, and in fact, it is fire absorption. And whenever I am subjected to fire damage, I take no damage, but instead I regain a number of hit points equal to the number of damage.
You all see as the flames are burning, and this is terrible, Piddlewick just starts to glow red and crackle like his metal is molten, but he is unfazed. Super Saiyan Piddlewick.
Yeah!
What is the save DC of that finger of death, however, Aslan Rex?
It is the same save DC that you, yes, it is 23.
Con or a dex? I apologize.
This is Constitution.
Okay.
So that's for me.
Yes, for Van Richten for the finger of death.
I will have to crit again to succeed this.
I believe in you. Statistically speaking, it's improbable, not impossible.
Well, it didn't happen.
Very well, then.
It was Schrodinger's die.
It always is.
However,
It was
Aslan
18.
Rex is seeing a lot of ones over here, just so you know. Luckily, it is a big damage.
It's almost
bonus.
like Uriah's fighting you, even in this place.
So that will be a grand total of 44 points of necrotic damage. Could have been much worse.
How is Van Richten looking over there as the explosion has detonated and you've taken a number of blows?
Again, not his first rodeo. So, he has spent much time in meditation, in his studies, in understanding the creatures that he fights. He has ways of slowing his heart rate so that he doesn't bleed out as quickly. He read, it's not his first finger of death. So he's rough, but he is not out of the fight. And he has a few tricks up his blousey sleeve.
Valentine.
Yeah. Ouch.
This is a significant display. You've realized two things in very quick succession, Valentine, because you are brilliant as well as perceptive. The stories about Aslan Rex are true, but so are the stories about Van Richten.
Great. That only makes me more full of spite. First, I'm casting Greater Invisibility, which I can cast spells through because it is Greater Invisibility.
Yep.
And then I will expend sorcery points to cast a cantrip as a bonus action and double it. So I will cast off some firebolts.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Those are attacks from you, correct? Not saves from him?
They are attacks from me.
Perfect. Presumably at Aslan Rex, not the Bone Claw?
Yes, at Aslan Rex.
Right. Have
Directly from my stance of invisibility.
Of
The first one is a 24 to hit.
That hits.
All right. And the second one is a 25 to hit.
Both hits.
Excellent. That is digital roll this for a little speed. All right. That is 34 points of damage, fire damage.
Very well.
You see the fire bolts slam into him, and you all smell the cooking of undead flesh and see the tattering of robes. So in whatever state Aslan is here, he's just as here as you are.
What I would like to do, since it shouldn't incur an attack of opportunity to move anywhere due to the invisibility, I will not stay in the spot from which I sent the fire bolts. So it's very, very hard to place where I am. I'll kind of throw one from one side and one from the other and move from those positions.
I thought you were going to attempt to button hook. If Aslan, and by extension the Bone Claw, are at 12 o'clock on the clock, and your friends are right in the center, is Valentine going presumably not towards 12, so you're going 3 or 9 or 6? It might matter. That's why I'm asking.
I was staying on the side that my friends are on, and I was just kind of moving back and forth to the different sides of them, if that makes sense. We're all kind of standing, I'm assuming, in some sort of line in front of them.
Yes.
And I'm firing from two different positions.
I guess what I'm getting at is you are consciously trying to move out of subsequent fireball range of everybody being bunched up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I don't want to get fireballed, and I also don't want him to be able to identify my location.
Got it. Aslan Rex.
I should mention that Valentine, as you cast your spell and you fire your firebolts, Aslan's eyes follow you as you move, and he nods as he pats out the flames.
So you can see through invisibility. Interesting. Very interesting.
You hear Tregram in your head. Oh, excellent. Well struck. Powerful as always. I think you're winning his respect. That's good. But you might also be winning his ire, which is bad. I'm just going to be quiet so you can concentrate.
The hope is that he hates me less than the puppet.
Oh, I
don't hate you. I just want you to respect
Aslan hates
me.
you. I'm sorry. I didn't assume you hated me.
Perfect.
I'm sorry. This was actually much less, this was a worse statement than you thought it was, but.
The one time ever Valentine didn't mean to hurt someone's feelings. Ever. It's like 44 episodes.
It's a little worse. I'm trying to make Aslan hate Piddlewick more instead. It's actually worse.
I told you I would break.
Perfect. That's it for Valentine, correct?
Yes, that's it for me.
Finn, it is your turn.
All right, as a bonus action, I'm going to pop my dread form.
You know,
And
one thing, sorry not to interrupt, since we're among friends, recall for us what your dread form looks like.
I basically imagine Desmond, but with big dragon wings instead, and very long claws and kind of fuzzy.
Perfect.
You would ask me this right now.
There's no wrong answer. Nowhere is it written it looks the same every time. Then yes, please. What would you like to do?
Can I see the bone claw?
Give me a perception check.
It's like 8 feet tall.
It's hiding. It's the thing it does.
Oh, yeah.
It's slippery. He's a big, strong boy, but he is just like, yeah.
Luckily, I get advantage, so I have an 18.
You can't. You know it's there. It's not gone.
Mm.
You cannot
Well,
see it.
so
You
much
can
for
see
that.
Aslan, but you can't see the bone claw.
Then I'm going to use True Strike on Aslan.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll it.
Oh, I have to roll that.
I believe so.
Okay.
I think True Strike isn't it? Yikes! You tell me. You have it in front of you. I don't know if it's
It does not say anything about rolling. It says you point a finger at a target in range. Your magic grants you a brief insight into the target's defenses. On your next turn, you gain advantage on your first attack roll against the target, provided the spell hasn't ended. It is concentration.
All right. True Strike, you say, right?
Correct.
And let me just check something real quick here. 'Cause I know it's
Is a
going
cantrip.
to be shocking to know that
Would you
it's
like a list of immunities and things?
it's not one of those things. Desmond can do
Oh,
that. It's not that. It's just going to give her. It's going to give her advantage next time. Perfect.
Gotcha.
Anything else,
Yeah.
Fan?
If I can do anything after I've done a cantrip,
Yeah, I think that was action bonus action, but I'm going to assume you also are trying to spread out some to make you harder to fireball again. Oh, well, you're dreadful. Are you flying?
I'm actually going to go try to help Nahara.
Perfect. You're coming up into the air after Nahara. Perfect.
Yep.
Right. Then Piddlewick.
Yes.
The Piddlewick of the flames.
It is I. I'm glowing with anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Might I ask the Lord Aslan a question before I make an action?
Talking is a free action, yes.
Hey, my lord, do you like apples?
Oh, that seems an odd time, and it has been many years since I have consumed mortal food. But yes, I suppose I did like apples.
Well, how do you like these apples? And I multi-attack them with my merry magical murder stick. I get 2 attacks.
But I am up in the air, I should mention. I am, in fact, however high.
Wait, how high are you?
Pretty high, man.
Tell me then, and I'll make a more informed decision.
Piddlewick.
Yes.
He is out of range of your merry murder stick, but he is within range of that bottom ability that you have.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for, baby.
It may or may not work on him, but you absolutely can. Yep.
I'm trying it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing some poison breath at him.
What does it look like when Piddlewick spews a cloud of poison breath at Aslan Rex?
It looks like a bunch of confetti. It's a bunch of old, moldy confetti.
And glitter, craft herpes.
And glitter.
All towards you, Aslan Rex.
And silly string.
Not accounting for any damage mitigation from Aslan Rex, it would be a DC 19 Constitution save. Does poison even work on Aslan?
Aslan is utterly immune to poison, though he is not immune to glitter, because he's going to be finding this forever. This is going to be he's actually quite upset about this, but takes no damage.
You see the cloud go all over him. Hang on, let me check one thing. I will say, just because we're among friends, some of the glitter falls on the bone claw, which will give you advantage for anyone that is looking for it subsequently. Doesn't reveal it outright, but it's kind of like a couple of particles of glitter are kind of floating in midair around the 12-foot mark now. Anything else from Piddlewick?
No, that's it.
You have nothing to fear from the fireball, so I guess you can stand right there. Last but certainly not least, Desmond.
Oh, hi. Can I see the bone hands?
Give me perception. You can give it with advantage now.
Perfect.
I will tell you, it's very well hidden. It was a significant roll.
That'd be a 23.
Hang on. Let me. That actually is enough, Desmond. You can make it out. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And when I see it, I cast Hunter's Mark on it.
And now you definitely know where it is.
And I cast that Hunter's Mark at, trying to see what level, because I really like the idea of knowing where these things are for a longer amount of time than the basic. At least at second level.
Perfect. You're going to know where it is for a while.
Good.
Now, I would very much that with that hunter's mark. What are the joys that I need to focus on for this particular thing?
Hunter, you're going to be able to find it, and Hunter's Mark will give you bonus damage if you hit it. So you probably want to put some arrows
Perfect.
in it.
I'm going to Hunter's Sense on it as well.
You're going to Hunter Sense on it, or you're going to Hunter Sense on King Aslan Rex?
The problem is, like, if I don't mark the claws, I can see where the claws are. Can I quickly tell people where they are on their turns? Like, that's
They've already got advantage. You can't really make it more advantagey, unfortunately.
yeah. All right, then I'll cast Hunter's Sense on the darkness.
Now, Hunter's Sense does let you know a target's weaknesses, correct?
Yes.
However, does the target have any sort of resistance? I'm looking here. Do they have any chance of fighting this or no? I don't think so. So, here's how we're going to do this, Aslan Rex.
Yes.
Desmond is going to know if you have any damage immunities, resistance, or vulnerabilities.
Very well.
But what I'm going to ask is send it to him directly. He may share it, but Aslan has not insignificant capabilities. It's up to Desmond to recount what he recounts. If you would, send it to him.
Very well.
Just want to sprinkle this in there. Trust and believe Desmond's going to spread word, because why would you keep that to yourself? Also, he threatened Uriah. Desmond doesn't appreciate that.
Very well. I have sent the rather extensive list.
Well, extensive doesn't say it. That's like most of my Zoom window. Sheesh.
I really just wanted him to send it for Desmond's reaction, to tell you the truth.
That is what that is.
So having an insight of the true scope of the foe before you, what does Desmond say?
Oh, this is gonna suck. To start, Cold and Lightning, not gonna do much damage. Necrotic, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical stuff. That's immunity. So yeah. Can't be blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, or stunned. So yeah, this is gonna suck.
Yes, and if you're wondering if I left vulnerabilities off that list, I didn't. There are none.
I don't care. Uriah back because you.
Yeah, deep voices.
Turn back while you can, fools. Let the dead lie within their graves.
Give us Uriah and this ends.
I don't think he's gonna budge, Desmond. What? Anything else from you?
I feel like that was trying to see.
That is an action. That is an action and a bonus action. So again, assuming you want to spread out as well from the rest.
Yes, definitely spreading out because too close.
Everybody's kind of scattered now, except Piddlewick just sort of standing there like, come at me. Which brings us back to the top of the second round. Nahara, give me a perception check with advantage.
All right. Oh, let me see what I have to add to that because I did not roll that great. 16.
Nahara, is you are flying, bobbing out of the way of the resilient sphere. You see Finn is pursuing you. Before I say what I'm going to say, what does Nahara's form of dread look like? Because we didn't mention that.
Nahara's eyes go completely white, and it seems to have a light shining from within outward. And you see that all of the feathers of her wings have actually become little flickers of flames. And right behind her, illuminating her, is this a sort of mandala of light with sigils written across in a circle.
Perfect. As Aslan Rex shout, "Be gone and let the dead lie." In the midst of one of the shattered walls of Castle Avernus, actually what would have probably been the lower ranks at some point, perhaps even the crypts that now floats in the air, you see a face begin to form, wispy and spectral.
No.
It looks
No.
It looks like a young man. At first you think it's Uriah, but it's too young. It could be Uriah's son, Uriah's brother, or Aslan's son.
Heed me,
Well,
Nahara. I have not unleashed my full power upon you, nor have I cut you from the wellspring of yours, though it is within my abilities to do so. I am your patron, and you will obey.
well, it looks as though Uncle Sus might become my new warlock daddy.
You see this young man is like clearly looking at Aslan, like holding his hands out towards him as he comes floating forward.
Enough! Enough!
Father.
I am free of you. I am free of you. No!
Come home. As Aslan sees this young man coming out, you all see this coming out of the castle towards him. What does Aslan do?
Enough! Enough! And with a rending of the space around him, Aslan is gone.
And you see the ghost looks right at you, Nahara. Just turns its head.
Who are you?
Eric Salonen. Son. Murdered.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you going to harm us?
No. Van Richten. The words son and murdered slam into you.
Muted.
Yes, if you were saying something, you were muted, sir.
I said I look up and I saw that Aslan has vanished, and I see this spectral form coming towards Nahara. Did Aslan take the bone creature with him?
As far as you can tell, it is gone as well.
And I see that this spectral form is not causing us harm. And I feel for the boy.
It can't help but bring into your mind the face of your own son,
My son.
Erasmus,
Yes. Yes.
and what you were forced to do. The rest of you do not see Erasmus appear when this happens. The ghost looks at you, Nahara, and says, "If I help you, will you help me get revenge?"
Oh, I can promise you that.
You see, it looks down and it looks right at you, Van Richten. Monster Hunter.
Your words, not mine.
You're no better than him. And Eric dissipates.
And in my soul, I know he's not wrong.
Inside,
But I know the choices that I made.
as you all see Van Richten's brow furrowed, again, still grievously injured, you all hear Uriah's voice from inside the castle. What do they hear Uriah saying?
It's all coming apart. The center cannot hold. It's all coming to pieces.
And as you all hear Uriah's voice, the light starts to build again in the whine of the apparatus. But this time it is not coming from all places at once like it did before. Now that light and noise is clearly coming from the king's tier, floating in the sky above you. And as the light begins to consume you all, that is a good place for us to take a break. We will take a quick 10. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. The light, blinding. The noise, piercing, suddenly dissipates. And when it does, what do they see?
They find themselves on cobbled streets. The smell of the sea is strong in the air. A wharf can be seen, docks and ships. If this is a reflection of Darkon, then this must be an interpretation of Martira Bay. To the north. And walking along these cobbled steps, Uriah Macabre, a younger man, in the company of his father, Alistair Macabre, or at least the man he thinks is his father. Uriah trails behind him, carrying a collection of scrolls and maps, assisting his father, the scholar, as he can. They rush past you, and you can hear them speaking. Yes, Father. I understand it is a very important meeting indeed.
As you watch this younger image of your old friend run past, all of you give me perception checks.
$16.
Of a 14.
17.
17.
And nat 20. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Natural 20, Valentine. Oh, sorry.
13.
Didn't mean to step on that.
What was that, Finn?
A dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You all see this go by. Finn and Valentine. Apex predators in your own right. Finn, your eyes take in a couple of other things as this younger Uriah, still much older than the child you saved, but unmistakable, honestly bearing a striking resemblance to the ghost of Eric, who, for all intents and purposes, could have been Uriah's son. He bears almost no resemblance to the man he spent his life believing he was his father. But in the shops and stalls along the docks of the bay, Finn, you see hooded figures moving around, collecting tithes from withered, beaten shop owners that don't make eye contact with them, simply hold their hands out and drop the few meager coins in the cup. You see people buying things and hurrying along, an interesting mix of attempting to show off their own wealth and ostentatiousness and well-to-do-ness, but not so much as to make themselves a target. It is almost like the people here are flowers that bloom for mere seconds and then immediately shrink back down. Like, look what I've got. Do not kill me and take it, is almost the push and pull you see of the people that are making their ways through here. Valentine, you see all of these things as well. But one thing that Finn doesn't notice. About a block away, a very pale woman, supernaturally so, wearing a trench coat and a white blouse covered in roses, idly holding a long, oddly curved blade that she sort of taps on her shoulder while she's thinking, is watching Uriah and his father walk by. And you notice a couple of those hooded individuals walk towards her, handing her pouches of money. And she sort of motions and they move off again. She's good. Not quite good enough to evade your eye, Valentine. But whoever she is, she's smart.
Is she following them at all, or is she just standing and watching?
He's clearly watching them as they are, to use the clock analogy again, if she's at 3 o'clock, Uriah and his father are walking towards 9 o'clock in the opposite direction. With that natural 20, I'm going to go ahead and add, she's not breathing. You're pale, Valentine. Yeah, exactly. You're pale. He looks dead.
I'll just kind of signal to Fen, because Fen seems to be the other person like clocking the most, and I'll just kind of point her out to Fen and just go, that one, being handed the money, is not breathing, and I don't like the way that she's looking at them.
With the nudge, Finn, you immediately recognize your own kind. That's a vampire.
And I just smile and show my fangs to Valentine. She's like me.
Sure, I'm obviously have no concern with the undead. My concern is the vampire watching them.
That's what I mean. That's what I was talking about.
My concern is them being watched.
The question is, why are we here with young Uriah?
Look, what we've done is an act against nature, and I say that as a walking act against nature. Anything that is inexplicable here is a consequence of the choice that we've made. So this might be trials that we have to go through, things that we have to experience, or things that maybe Uriah is seeing within the apparatus.
What would happen if we approached Uriah?
Uriah and his father approach a dockside inn, and as they enter, Alistair McCullough, Uriah's adoptive father, turns and makes eye contact with this woman. They seem to acknowledge each other, and Uriah and his father disappear into the inn.
You see, she just gives the tiniest nod and tilts her head a little to the side, and you see one of those cloaked figures sort of move towards the inn. Again, they're physical people. They have boots on. They're just pretty good at being sneaky. In slides near the inn, and unless one of you does anything, after a moment or two beat, open the door and enter into the inn as well.
Could I, seeing this, Nahara will take out her crystal ball of scrying, and it requires the person that she's contacting to be on the same plane of existence. And she's searching for Uriah. Is Uriah actually here?
You feel exactly what Aslan Rex felt. Uriah's in several places. That's him in front of you. That is him walking. But you feel his presence in other places all over Darkon, almost like there's fragments of him sprinkled across this place.
It's so very confusing. Why would you all suppose that Uriah would be in many places at once?
May I offer up a suggestion?
Please.
I believe Uriah is all of this. I believe Uriah is piecing himself back together, and I also believe in order to do so, he needed you in here with him. He needed all of you in here with him.
But what is this that we're seeing?
These are his memories. These are fragments of who he may or may not have been, who he wanted to be. These are moments in time, his time. And as he builds back from the bottom up, well, he needs you along with him for that building.
So, are we able to Are we able to interact in a memory?
As soon as you are, as sure as you are standing on these streets and you saw him standing before you, I do believe. Yes. But I do believe the fragments that you're sensing around you, well, we are not encountering them, but the manifestation in front of you, yes, I do believe you could encounter. In fact, I believe you must.
I will also note, despite the fact that the scene has changed and your circumstances seem altered, your injuries have not gone away. You all are
I'm
still
holding
burned.
my guts in.
Yes.
Holding my guts in.
Van Richten is still heavily damaged, and everyone but Nahara badly burned. Well, and not Piddlewick either. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Speaking of Piddlewick.
Yes. What am I doing here?
What are you doing here? You see the scene as described. You noticed the vampire when she was pointed out to you, but otherwise you see crime, Piddlewick. There's a lot of crime.
I think I'm home.
And you see Uriah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello, sir.
Do you approach Uriah and his father?
I do. I approach Uriah and his father.
While you two were discussing things, this child-sized construct walks right up to you, Uriah. And yes, please, what were you about to say?
Hello, sir.
As Piddlewick approaches the table, he hears Uriah speaking to his father. But who was that man, Father? I don't understand. He seemed rather... Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. What are we talking about? It sounds intriguing.
And Uriah just turns and gives you his full attention. But he doesn't seem at all shocked by the fact that you're this clockwork automaton. He just seems to regard you as if you were a random person in the restaurant who walked up to him. Oh, my father and I are here on business. His business, I suppose.
Oh, I'm here on business as well with my friends. You should come say hello.
Friends? Yes. Yes, they seem familiar to me.
Yes. Come with Bitterwick.
I will, I think. He stands up from the table and his father doesn't seem to notice that he's left. He just he continues with drinking. It's so odd. I recall this moment. It was the first time I felt doubt in the man who raised me. He was being so secretive. Yes, I remember now.
Uriah.
Have we met, sir? Have we met?
As you say this, as you step outside the inn, Piddlewick, you notice it too. A very large raven. Nearly as tall as Piddlewick. Very large. Looks you right in the eye, Uriah. And flies away, leaving one long black feather that floats down and lands at your feet.
Huh. How curious. That bird was of rather prodigious size. I wonder if it is an omen.
You should wear that feather in your cap.
Oh, yes. Stick a feather in my cap. What shall I call it?
Oh, I don't know. Macaroni?
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in.
N-A?
That's that we're done here. It's it's been Black Dice Society. Yeah, Lucky Yates.
It's a serious horror game.
Thank you all. And we're done. Yeah.
Please take us seriously.
It'll be terrible soon enough.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see Uriah and does he see Fen and will he recognize Fen?
Uriah, give me a perception check. Again, Piddlewick and now a very large raven are a lot to take in. Those are unusual sights, even in your young life.
Uriah is quite good at perception. I'm using his current stats for it, but I rolled a 3, so I'm going to assume he looks at Fen and does say, forgive me, madam, do I know you? You seem so familiar.
I saved you, Uriah. From the forest.
Yes, at the carnival. I remember now.
What are you doing here?
I didn't see you this day.
No.
No, it was much later. I didn't see you until then, until...
Uriah, as you are tumbling around in your head, that I know you, but you weren't here. This didn't happen like this. You hear Strahd's voice echo in your mind, and a sharp pain goes through your chest. And you all see it.
Uriah falls to his knees. Oh, what? No, it was... Yes. Yes, I remember now. Nahara, you did it! I feel so peculiar.
Uriah?
When,
As I run towards him.
when you reach out, the moment your fingers touch the faintest bit of his skin, the light returns. The flash, the screaming, the noise. And when it dissipates, Uriah is gone again. But what do they see?
Now you seem surrounded by ancient tombs, monuments. Moss and lichen covers everything. Sky is overcast. The air is moist, though not the same as you experienced at the seaside. The ruins seem to have a distinctly elven cast to their manufacture. You've heard Uriah speak of this area of Darkon, Nivakar Springs. In some ways, the base of operations of the Church of Ezra in Darkon. You see a procession of acolytes, a temple of Ezra. And among them, a version of Uriah, slightly older than the teenager you saw before.
You all hear in this line of penitents as they are walking, Valentine, give me an insight check.
Right. That is 22.
She's tall, regal. She reminds you of your mother. They would have been of an age. Honestly, perhaps they could have even been cousins. Just a similar bearing, how she walks. In these other penitents are head bowed, whispering prayers. You do see Uriah. But you know that woman's hiding something. The first person you learned to read was your mother, inscrutable to everyone else, but you learned her every tale when she would play with her fingernails, just slightly. Bite at her lip, just a little.
How far is she from us?
20 feet. Was walking through
and she's just walking, or is she stopping to like essentially pray?
They're sort of you get the idea that it is a procession to somewhere holy, that she's very much leading them along as they are praying behind her.
Oh, so she's like the leader of whatever's happening right here, or at least of some power.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to look at everybody in the group and then just kind of like take off and saddle up into that group and just like take to the pose that they're doing and like silently trying to mutter along whatever their prayer is.
I would say Valentine spent enough time around Uriah and has enough of a read on people that you can kind of say the Ezra's hail, Holy Mary Mother, prayer.
Yeah. However, from the conditioning of just hearing Uriah do it, she just kind of stammers when she does it too, with nervousness, because it's just the only way she's ever heard Uriah do it.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of mention of pathways and mist and guiding paths.
Yeah. The only way she knows how to do it is sounding like she's in immediate danger.
Uriah, You see, this young woman steps into line next to you, unusually dressed and clearly wounded, but begins the penitence.
Are you all right? Do you require medical attention?
Oh, I'm sure Ezra will care for me.
Oh,
Could
yes,
you?
well said, well said. You are a fellow penitent then?
Of course, yes. I'm so sorry to trouble you. I'm just quite terrible with names, and it's very embarrassing. But could you remind me her name? And I just like lowly gesture towards the woman in front of us.
Oh, yes, Sister Cathetic.
Cathetic. Oh, thank you. That would have been so embarrassing.
Yes, I'm Uriah McCorber.
Cardina Artazas Cathodic. Just for anybody keeping score.
Sure am not when it comes to names. Uriah, you said?
Yes, that's me. Yes, I'm Uriah. Who are you?
And I make like deadlocked eye contact with him, and I go telepathic instead of out loud, and I say Valentine. Valentine Asteria.
Valentine. You've touched Uriah's mind many times.
Hmm?
This is a piece of it. It's him, but it's not all of him.
And she's just like staring like daggers into his eyes as she recognizes that little bit of like flicker of recognition, but like continuing at pace, moving with him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uriah, the moment you're looking into these eyes, and there is a familiarity, Cardina stops and turns around, and she says, "We all know what must be done. Order must be restored in Darkon. There must be a king. Look, the shroud encroaches, even here, into this holy place. And Valentine, you see, all of you see, that same thicker mist. The shroud has begun eating away at some of the walls of this place, that even here in the tunnels, there are whole sections that are just lost. If we do not restore order, if there is not a king in Darkon, then all will be lost. All of you." And she turns and she looks at all of you. "Have you come to help aid us in the great resurrection, in the restoration of our king, Aslan Rex?"
Yes, of course, sister. My vows are to be taken on the morrow, and I have already been assigned to ease the suffering of the plague victims in Ilaluk. But tell me, what will we be doing here tonight?
Valentine, you see her tell again. "We must, my dear Uriah." And she comes walking forward, and you all see the rest of the penitents just move out of the way as she comes to stand right in front of Valentine and Uriah. Valentine, again, you can't help but shake the eerie familiarity of this woman. And she looks at you, gives you a warm smile, and looks at you, Uriah. And she reaches out and she puts her hand under your chin and says, "My dear Uriah, my sweet, sweet boy, tell me, is there anything you would not give for those you love?"
I would give my all to defend the innocent, to defend Ezra's flock.
Is there anything you would not give to protect those you love?
I'm just going to put a hand on Uriah's shoulder, and I'm going to, because I still have the telepathic link up, go, "This isn't right. She isn't who she says she is.
Forgive me, sister, but do we not already have a king?
Uriah, it's difficult making sense out of this. Why you know this young woman's presence? Why those other penitents that have just arrived seem so familiar, especially that raven-haired woman
Yes.
and that spectacled man.
Yes, I know them. But they
But-
weren't here.
But as your mind searches, there was an incident at Castle Avernus. Talk of an explosion. Which, of course,
Yes.
King Aslan Rex must have survived. He's King Aslan Rex, and yet none have laid eyes on him since.
Yes. That's when we are. The king. The king is missing, yes?
Mm.
Yeah.
The king is necessary. There must always be a king in Darkon.
Yes, I understand.
Otherwise, the shroud will fall on all of us eternally.
Yes.
Ezra, and she turns and motions towards the wall where you all see this thick fog is literally eating Darkon. Ezra, goddess of the mists, has sent this shroud. It is her will that we do this. Valentine, she's not sure. She hopes.
Pardon me, sister. I was just wondering, since Ezra knows all and gives all, why didn't she make you a better liar?
As I don't, what was your name, penitent?
Valentine.
Sister Valentine. I speak nothing but the truth. Sacrifices must be made in the name of Ezra for the greater good of Darkon.
Oh, darling, look at your nail beds. And I pull her hand forward out in front of me.
Uriah, you remember of the other 6 penitents that are here, the other 5, there were 6 of you. You never see them again. Maybe they were just assigned elsewhere. Nahara, Finn, everyone but Valentine and Uriah, give me perception checks.
Man.
23.
23. Yes, Piddlewick.
28.
28.
2.
Piddlewick, the moisture down here is murder on your joints.
Ah!
Like,
18.
18. All the rest of you, it's almost like this place is changing along with Uriah's awareness. It is not that the walls are changing so much, but you can just sort of see where you couldn't see just a few moments ago. And you see there is a table with 6 daggers laying on it in 6 goblets. One of those robed figures that you saw at the bay appears out of the shadows, picks up one of the daggers, picks up one of the goblets, and puts a sack of coins under the altar. And as it turns to leave, you, Van Richten, monster hunter extraordinaire, realize that's a lycanthrope. Even you don't notice this, Desmond, but Van Richten does. Just as stealthy as it is, as coy as it is, this is what you do, Van Richten. And as this person essentially is buying Uriah's life, sort of looks both directions, tucks the hood a little bit, and moves backwards. And you'd heard story that Aslan Rex, the Kargat, his secret police, employed a number of lycanthropes.
I sidle up to Desmond and I said, He is one of you.
I like him through.
Yes. And then I share what I know about the guards. And then I sidle up. Oh, please.
I was just going to say, Desmond, recall long, long ago, the very first time you met Aslan Rex, he offered you a job in the Kargat and told you a number of lycanthropes work for me. It was one of the first things he ever said to you.
Truth. That checks out. So I look at it, it was like, that actually checks out.
Sorry, Van Richten. Yes.
Oh, I once again turn to Nahara and I say, when you last approached him, it triggered something in him that brought us to this place. So your connection is obviously moving him closer to the destination and assembling the pieces.
Okay. Well, I will do my best to help that along. But do you know what any of this means?
As I said before, I am discovering it as you are, but what I believe is happening is the man is trying to come back.
All right. And I look towards Uriah and I cast a message.
Right before your message happens, Valentine, she looks to you and she speaks Elvish. I assume you speak our ancestral tongue, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Your ears are hidden behind your lovely hair, but I can make them out. Why are you here?
Why are any of us here?
To save Darkhan and resurrect Darkhalus Rex, the first king of Darkhan.
Right. And what are you going to do with all of these people?
Their fate will be in the hands of the Lady of the Mist. Sacrifices must be made to bring back peace and order and stability. It seems terrible, but a far worse fate will await them and everyone else if I do not do this.
Most things that seem terrible are.
Then you agree?
That you're terrible? Of course.
No. When you come to understand the lady's will, she speaks in here. I know what must be done. And when she says, I know what must be done, a very cold wind blows through these hot springs. It's truly pleasant. Before that, you all have heard Uriah talk when you were around the campfire about these springs that the wealthy would come and relax and luxuriate, and it is comfortable down here. There's very few comfortable places anywhere in the mists, but this is nice. But a chill goes through all of you.
Some sacrifices do need to be made. That's correct. Can I just ask, how did you choose yours?
She turns and she looks at all of them. The rest of them, their heads down. Uriah really being the only one who's kind of looking up from his hood. They were the most faithful.
Because they gave the most. Ironic, isn't it?
There is nothing we wouldn't give for those we love. And Nahara, that is when your message goes off.
Nahara whispers to Uriah, Uriah, you must remember me. And she begins to hum this lullaby that she's sang to him many nights when he couldn't sleep.
I know that song, but I hadn't heard it yet. Not now, not then. And his eyes drift over to Fen. Yes, I know her.
Uriah.
I knew her. She's here again. I'd already met her. by this point, but I hadn't met you, but I know you.
Please.
Who are you?
Please. It's Nahara. Please, you must remember me.
I remember this night. My freedom was purchased by a stranger. I left the ritual. I never knew what happened to the others. The Nevercost Spring sect, some of its teachings were at odds with what I saw as Ezra's will. I was there that night, but it was so long ago. Is it now? Is now then? Why do I know you? Why do I know
Because you do, Uriah.
I know you very well.
Please remember. You must remember.
He raises his hand and approaches you, and as he makes contact with your cheek, the same thing happens. A flash of light.
The flash of light, the whine, the scream. As the light begins to form, Valentine, you make one more bit of eye contact with Cardina. And you know, despite her own doubts and even her own fears, you know she's going to do it. And you all are consumed again. And when the light dissipates, it's final time. What do they see?
They stand once more in the streets of a city, but this is a vast metropolis. Lights can be seen receding into the distance, and before you, a magnificent palace. You can see servants and courtiers moving about. The guests and the servants all appear to be masked. It's some kind of ball. And you can see, standing at the servants' entrance, a humble priest petitioning for entry. It's Uriah. It's much as you saw him when you first met. He's even wearing the same clothes, the same cloak. He said he was heading to Ilaluk. He had just arrived when he was spirited away. This must be Ilaluk then, from his descriptions.
As this sprawling scene extends before you, Van Richten and Finn, you've seen its like. The rest of you have never really laid eyes on any place of as this size and scope before, of the streets that go so far, the buildings that are so tall. And you all hear, "Oh, what a lovely thing! I must have it! I just must!" And a foppish person comes bounding up to you, covered in makeup and a mask. Lace extends from their sleeves, fine sky blue silk, and they traipse right up to Piddlewick. "Oh, what a lovely little thing! Is this a real boy, or is it some sort of robot? Otherwise, either way, which one of you owns it? What will it cost? I shall pay it. Come, come. Don't be coy, or I'll pay double."
I actually stand in front of Piddlewick because that irks Fen.
Mm-hmm.
While he's annoying, we don't own him.
Oh? Oh, well, he's currently
No.
untethered then. He's free. Box this one up. Box
no.
it up. No.
And I just kind of reach like I'm going to reach for my sword. We don't just pick people up off the street here.
No, we don't. I mean, madam, you must be new here. I assure you, we certainly do. But
Well,
I'm
you
prepared
don't
to
right
persuade
for-
you. Yes,
As she
Desmond.
says, we most certainly do.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't see it, but Desmond moved behind her, just kind of leans in and just, no, not here. We don't.
Well, hello.
Goodbye.
Are you looking to gain entry?
Not to you.
Nah. What I would like to gain is your departure from disrespecting our friend. So
Wait.
please apologize.
Wait, this device is a threat. Wait, is that
Please apologize.
No, wait, no, shush. Is that Van Richten?
Oh, hold on.
He glances at Finn and just like,
Yes. No,
She just pulls her sword. Like, did you shush my friend?
Shush. Yeah.
I smacked. I smacked.
Dare you shush me?
I smacked him with the flat of my blade.
Make an
And I
attack
just
roll.
form of dread.
Make an attack roll for me, Van, as you sort of like give him a little pop.
With my sword.
Piddlewick.
Yes, I'm here and loving everything that's happening right now.
Piddlewick, they're defending you.
I know they stepped in for me. What's happening? I've won. I've won them over.
No, I just don't like slavers. That would be a 19.
Finn, something interesting happens. You slap this person with the flat of your blade, but when it comes away, it is absolutely covered in makeup. All of you
Ew.
give me perception checks.
Ew.
It is like if you put your sword in mud and pulled it out.
dirty 20.
21.
21.
13.
14.
As Nahara is literally on fire with rage right now.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a 22.
22. Valentine and Van Richten.
19.
14.
14. Even with a 14, this person is so close to you. I'm going to say all of you can tell. Van Richten and Piddlewick, you thought you saw this. The rest of you are sure you saw this. When the blade comes away, there's nothing there. It is completely clear. Like there is no face under the makeup. And with a very deft move, you see the person just sort of rubs it like, oh, yes, well, I didn't let you know that I don't mind a bit of a spanking on occasion. Yes, now, but I must insist, if you don't behave yourself, I shall call the Cargat on you, or are the two of you agents of the Cargat, because you had the from down in here, and you have those delightful things. Van Richten, have you been taken into custody of the Cargat? You naughty boy. Also, look at this tremendous glowing. What a colorful group. Wait.
We're the entertainment.
Your mamas. Oh, that makes so much more sense. That man bears a striking resemblance to Rudolph Van Richten, at least in the etchings in the back of his book. The rest
He's an
of you-
impersonator. He does a tight 11 minutes as Rudolph Van Richten doing hilarious treatises on absurd topics. We need to be let into the servant's entrance or wherever the entertainment goes.
Delightful. Excuse me, scrawny priest, step aside. The entertainment's here.
He's with us.
As soon as Piddlewick says we're the entertainment, Nahara takes her lyre out and just starts strumming, like, aggressively.
Oh.
Yes, excuse me, I don't mean to be in the way. I'll just let
Oh,
you
no, you're
pass.
not in the way. You're with us. Remember, you need to bless our performance. Come with us.
Yes.
Do I?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
very, very important that you do. Yes.
I'm here about the plague.
The plague can
Come
wait.
with us.
Brother
Wow.
Uriah, you couldn't help but hear this person say, is that Rudolph Van Richten? Oh, it's an impersonator. It's not him. Looks just like him, but that's not Van Richten. Okay.
I must say, sir,
Yes.
your garb, is that makeup? You've done a remarkable job. It's
What do you mean is this makeup? No, of course. I just
Oh,
look like this. I mean, perhaps this impersonator, of course. I mean, those glasses probably aren't even real. Are those the true spectacles?
is it some
Allow
manner
me
of
to
glamour? It's really quite remarkable.
Wait, I'm
you look-
tired of everyone not talking about me. I'm Oscanor Eris. Okay, I'm part of the family that is throwing this grand soiree. I'm not getting nearly enough focus on me.
We need to talk more about our advanced payment.
Are you possible to go on permanent retainer, little boy, little machine? How should I refer to you as?
I absolutely am available. I will leave this group in 2 seconds if you offer me enough
But-
money.
I want a
Our
contract.
friend does accept only payment up front for the extent of that contract retainer.
Contracts, payments, yes. I shall have you know the heiress name carries weight in these parts. Does our name not carry weight? And you
Not
see,
as heavy as money is. Go on.
you see as all of these foppish people are coming, when Oscanor says, does our name not carry weight? You will, Van Richten.
Yes.
Van Richten, give me either nature, history, or arcana, whichever is higher for him.
That would be a 23 arcana.
Van Richten, you don't know, but you've heard. You've heard a couple of things. You would know for a fact that there is a night, a particular ritual that they do here in Darkon, where the Escanor family in particular hands out potions. The Eris family, sorry, hands out potions that turn people invisible, and then set them out into the night to basically do whatever it is that they would do, to basically engage in all manner of debauchery on the night of the new moon. And as you look up, there is no moon in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
What you've heard is perhaps one or more of these people are actually stuck being invisible. And there's even a particularly outlandish rumor that some of them pretend to be other members of the family sometimes.
Is there, can I, on this character that has approached us, can I cast Dispel Magic?
You can.
To uninvisible them?
You can. What you see when you reach out and try and will this magic to depart, it actually doesn't, Van Richten. You all watch this person kind of like warps and shimmers for a minute, and actually each of you in your own way feels kind of slightly nauseated by it, because there is kind of a baseline magic in each of you that Van Richten can't quite do away. But you notice it is. Give me another arcana or history, and give it to me with advantage, Van Richten.
Sure. Well, that's 25 arcana.
If this was a curse, your dispel magic wouldn't have removed it.
Mm-hmm. I also am reminded that we're in someone's memory. And so I approach Uriah and I say, your eyes did not deceive you, but it is easier for me to travel under this masquerade of impersonation. Yes, I am him.
Uriah, that's not Van Richten. Van Richten wouldn't be here. Not like this. Not tonight.
No, you weren't here tonight. But he turns to Fen. You saved me when I was a child, but this is the night I meet you again, but not yet. I meet all of... And as he turns and looks at the rest of the group, his eyes settle on Nahara. I meet you tonight.
Uriah, as you come to this realization, as you say this, on this night of truly horrifying debauchery, this is the night that the mist are going to pluck you up, that they are going to drop you outside of the carnival, that you will meet your friends again. But where was Uriah when the mist came for him?
was turned away from the palace. They had no time. They were too concerned with their celebrations and debauchery, and I was returning to, yes, the temple of Ezra on the outskirts of Ilaluk. I was riding along the road. The mists, they grew thicker, thicker. And then I stood before the house of lament. And I gazed upon an angel.
And as
remember.
you think back to this moment, you do not hear the screaming, whining again, but everything changes, and you all stand at a six-pointed crossroads with a pile of feathers in the middle of the road. That Desmond, Valentine, Finn, Nahara, and Uriah, you all remember quite well when you met what seems like many lifetimes ago.
Am I here? Is this happening? I've seen it. I've seen it all. He reaches out to Nahara. Are you here? Am I?
Yeah, yes. Yes, you remembered. Oh,
Yes. But
why?
I've seen so much. My time in her palace, at her side, she showed me. It's Darkon.
Who showed you?
Ezra. The Raven Queen. It's all coming to pieces. Darkon. He was the linchpin, don't you see? Aslan. He left his throne, but he doomed them all the people. Darkon is a vast realm. There are so many innocents here. There are many terrible people, terrible creatures, but there are innocents, hundreds of them, thousands. It will all fall apart without him, and what will become of them?
When you say this, in the sky, Van Richten, you know these lands, this house. This is in Borca. This is not far from where you live. You have been here before. The house is uniquely, astonishingly haunted. And as you are surveying your surroundings, in the sky over your head, you all see that golden star again, the king's tear, appear. And it was not there before. And a beam of light comes down to the ground, just illuminating a few feet away from you.
I step forward to the light.
Do you go into it?
I'll follow Van Richten.
As Van Richten enters the light, he vanishes. Does Valentine go in after Van Richten vanishes?
I'm going to look back at everyone and be like, we have to get out of here somehow. Brother Uriah, it's good to see you. And then I'll step through.
Valentine vanishes.
Valentine. Yes, her name is Valentine. I remember her now. Fen, Desmond, and horror. And oh God. I thought that was a nightmare.
Me, Piddlewick, wee! And he runs into the light.
Piddlewick also vanishes, kicking up a cloud of mud and dirt as he runs across.
He is a nightmare, but we should go.
Yes. Yes.
I
Is any-
step into the light and try to pull Brother Uriah with me, unless Nahara would like to do so.
Finn goes, presumably Desmond goes.
Before Desmond goes, he just pats him on the back and just say, when we get back, should make that famous brisket.
I think I should like that very much, Desmond.
Agreed. And Desmond walks through.
And then there is just Uriah and Nahara.
Nahara takes Uriah's hands. Are you able to come with us?
I think so. You found me. You all found me.
I was never going to stop trying.
When you say you all found me, all around you, coming down these different paths, you see Uriah. You see him at what must have been the age that Finn rescued him, a tiny boy, walk right towards Uriah and disappear. An older, awkward teenage boy with a bloody nose and a black eye, of an age that he would have been bullied in Rivolus, that Uriah told you about, walks right into him. Various Uriahs from various places and times, but you don't see any that are any older. And after a
Yes.
moment, this procession ends, and you feel whole, Uriah.
I think I'm ready to go home. Shall we?
Yes.
He takes her hand, and they'll step into the light together.
As you step into the light, this time it is not screaming, it is not deafening, it is not painful, but you hear, success! Yes! Yes! In Rudolph von Obricker, this horrible monstrosity is still flipping switches and rotating dials with his multi-tool arm, and turns and looks at Uriah laying on the slab as all of you reappear in the exact spot you were, surrounding the apparatus. And what do they see?
Uriah sits bolt upright. He looks into Nahara's eyes and runs forward and takes her face in his hands like, I am back. Oh, thank you. He kisses her.
She very much like smooches him back harder.
And then, as with tears of joy running down his face, thank you all. I barely know how to. Do you know, I had the honest dream. It was Rudolf van Richten was there.
I step forward.
Oh, Dr. Van.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Dr. von Albrecher, yes, I've brought you back. You are welcome. I'm of course the supreme genius.
Uriah literally does to this brain in a jar weird golem thing, just sort of like, yeah. Dr. Van Richten, I've practiced
quickly,
this moment. I've been such an admirer.
I'm checking him. I'm seeing the boy to make sure that are we still all injured or are
Yes.
Yes.
The injuries
So,
are still on you. Yes.
I'm holding in my guts as I check to see if he
are
is
you all,
well.
Well-
are you all right, sir? Are you all right?
Brother Uriah, as the doctor checks you, what does he find?
He touches his skin and feels a pulse, the warmth of a human body. His shirt is still open where he was cut open by Ferran Zalhonen, who you can see standing in the corner of the room. The Y-shaped incision is there, but healed completely. And the flesh is warm to the touch. He reaches out and says, sir, if you will allow me. He touches Van Richten on the shoulder and casts Cure Wounds.
Oh. I had almost forgotten that I'd bled out.
You know what? Actually, he casts Heal.
Ooh, the good stuff.
Yeah, you get 70 hit points back.
Woo.
Also, any disease, etc., is gone.
And then I reach in and I pull out the fan drawing. And as I look at my wounds healing, I said, I knew you'd be a good one.
Oh, you received it. I'll be honest. That's actually a rough draft. I actually did a more refined version. He starts digging through his possessions, which I assume are with him. It's like this one. This is sort of the more finished, refined product. That, as you can see, there's me and there's you. That the Strahd bonds out of it. I mean, it didn't actually work out like this, but
Raise it slightly higher because the Strahd is cropped. There you go. They've beaten Strahd together. Van Richten and Uriah.
Well, the bloody drawing that I hold, this one, you mind if I keep the original?
Yes, of course. I would want you to have them both. They are for you. I've read all your books.
Shout out to Paula, Art and Audio.
Art and Audio, who actually did that.
Who actually really did that. Piddlewick, as they are rambling, you see that strange girl also standing in the corner, your fellow construct. Her skin is gray, and she has the golden glow of a beating heart in her chest, and she's just standing there with her mouth covered, watching all of this. Her name was Elise.
Elise.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. Wait,
It worked.
Wait, did it work? Did it work, or did we? And she very much looks at you, Valentine, and she's like, "Did it work? You know, did we?" It's like,
I think it worked. I would like to look at Brother Uriah and see if I can identify if he's undead.
Give me perception, and you can give it with advantage. Piddlewick, you give me perception with advantage. Oh yeah, if you got a spell, that's cool too.
Let me check.
Identify would do that. Hunter sense that Desmond had would do it.
I got a 12, but what's my advantage?
Roll it a second time and take the higher. That's the advantage. Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're going with 12.
Yeah, I don't think that I have anything actually to determine that, because usually that's Brother Uriah's job.
Actually, yeah,
Is
Uriah.
there like a protection
I'm
from
a
evil and
cleric.
good, and then like
Right.
if you did it against undead and he didn't do anything, that would like give you an answer?
Yeah, I don't have
There
anything
is
that detects
anti-life shell.
There is anti-life
Yeah, but
shell.
you find out the hard way if anti-life shell works.
That is very
So,
true. We don't
what
want
was
to
I
do that.
rolling for if I don't have those specific ability?
Insight or perception, either.
Okay. With perception, I've got a dirty 20.
And Piddlewick was just even with your advantage. Piddlewick was like a 12. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Uriah, do either of them detect anything unusual about their friend?
They do not. And when he notices himself under observation, he a scared expression suddenly comes onto his face, and he looks at his own hands, and his eyes sort of briefly glow with, I think I'm in the clear.
It worked.
They've made some improvements to the machine.
Yeah, indeed, they have made improvements to the machine. I told you I am a genius. Dr. Mordenheim is a fool to keep me sequestered in here like this. You all see Elise, again, this clockwork girl with the unbreakable heart, kind of unclenches her fists and very slowly walks up towards you, Uriah. And her eyes narrow slightly, but then just reaches out and gives you a huge hug.
Hello.
Almost too strong, Uriah.
Ah,
honestly.
you're hurting me. No, it's good. It's a good sort of hurt that lets you know you're alive. I'm alive.
You're alive.
I'm Uriah. Hello.
Yeah. And she very much points at Zalhonan in the corner, and she's like, "Oh, we haven't. Oh, I'm Elise."
Yes, and hello, Uncle. Yes, good to see you in one piece, nephew. Yes.
Again, you all realize Zalhonan was not there for whatever just happened, but is still standing right there.
There a reason you couldn't come with us?
Oh, well, as mentioned, I'm currently communicating with you via simulacrum. not actually here?
Yeah, yes, I did get it.
It's Zalhonen, for you, this madman in a jar flipped the switch, there was electricity, and then they started screaming and clearly were burned, and Van Richten necrotic webs started appearing across his flesh, and then Uriah woke up.
Yes, it all looked rather sticky. I think I'm rather glad I wasn't able to accompany you. But now that our task is completed, I'm sure we can leave the good Baron to his rest and leave this place immediately.
Wait. Excuse me. I would like to request payment for my services. I believe what I want is very much within your purview.
And what might that be?
Freedom for myself and my young associate. Because although Victor Mordenheim is a buffoon, she is a powerful buffoon, and she will probably harm both of us, given the opportunity. Please take us away from this terrible place.
Well, I suppose that's easy enough for a man of my means.
Yes.
Well
I would
done.
do it as well, but I'm more the scientist than the wizard. In Zalhonen, while this brain in a jar on a stand with an arm is rambling, what does Faran Zalhonen do?
I should think that I should be able to teleport us from these environs close enough to our entry point for the means of entry back to my rather magnificent mansion.
A gust of wind, a far less painful flash of light, and you all are in the woods, deep in Lamortia, near what you know is a tree that will lead to Faran Zalhonen's abode. Actually, I take that back. Van Richten and Piddlewick, you don't know that a tree is going to take you anywhere, but you're back in the forest where you found these people to begin with.
Uriah will turn to Van Richten and just, Dr. Van Richten, I cannot thank you enough.
I'm not the one who need to be thanked.
Nope, I am. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Piddlewick.
Hey, anytime.
I
had my misgivings about the procedure. I had my worries about the machine, but I believe there was one element that was new, and I slowly turned to Nahara, and I say, I trusted her. I followed her lead, and she led you out.
In here, on the doorway of Faran Zalhonen, and hopefully a safe escape from Lamortia before Victor Mordenheim finds out and shuts the borders, there is only one more question that needs answering. We know where Van Richten's going to go. Where's Piddlewick going?
Yes, who's taking Piddlewick with them? Or am I staying in the spooky woods to hunt bears?
You know Piddlewick, says
Yes.
Zalhonen. You are, of course, a native of Barovia, and as far as I know, the throne is currently unoccupied.
Should I be king?
Or lord, at the very least.
I like king better.
Van Richten, as the very terrible idea that this construct is about to try and take over Barovia, which we both know you can't let happen, is an excellent place for us to stop.